Every couple of years, during and post the monsoon season in India, we get widespread reports of chikungunya and dengue affecting a larger section of the population. Now, these two diseases get the mainstream media attention, and we have widespread reports, widespread updates. But there is one more disease which is caused by mosquitoes, that is malaria. And malaria has been losing its space in mainstream media, even though it is much more deadlier and virulent compared to chikungunya and dengue. Hi, this is Gautam, and for today's episode, we'll be looking at this book, The Fever, written by Sonia Shah, which talks about the history of malaria. Sonia Shah's book, The Fever, puts malaria back in the spotlights. The writing is fluid, and certain parts of the book even had a thriller-type narrative. The book starts with a scientific introduction of what Plasmodium is. So the author states that this parasite Plasmodium evolves from more of a plant-like creature, and the domination of Plasmodium does not start at an early stage because we have different strains of Plasmodium, and only with the passage of time, Plasmodium gets the ability to infect multiple organisms. The author meticulously explains how the parasite evolves. Because if the temperatures are too low, it is difficult for Plasmodium to evolve or mature within the mosquito before the mosquito bites a human being. So it needs the right ambient temperatures to be virulent. So things take a positive aspect of Plasmodium, a positive effect for Plasmodium with the evolution of agriculture. Because once human beings start agriculture, a large number of humans stay in a smaller area. At the same time, they are associated with water bodies. They either stay near ponds, lakes, or rivers. That is the time the infection rate of Plasmodium increases when you place humans at the right temperature in the right environment. Now, post the evolution of Plasmodium, we have chapters which detail the transfer of disease from the continents of Africa, Europe, and Asia to the Americas. With the discovery of Americas, when humans begin to migrate to the New World, they carry the disease along with them. We also get a glimpse of demography. For example, the Africans who were forcibly brought as slaves to work in the plantations in America have a greater chance of immunity against the malarial parasites compared to the workers and individuals who come from Europe. Developing treatment for malaria again was fraught with many hurdles. The reason being, it was very difficult to pinpoint the disease-causing organism. Initially, it was thought that malaria is caused because of the air which rises from marshland. No one knew of Plasmodium. But even before the discovery of Plasmodium as a disease-causing organism, quinine, which is obtained from the bark of cinchona tree, was discovered as the cure. But again, this discovery had the realm of politics because different countries tried to control the production of quinine. For example, the Dutch painstakingly started developing cinchona plantations in the islands of Indonesia after collecting the seeds from Bolivia. I'll read a passage which narrates the difficulties which were undergone by the Dutch to get to the cinchona plantations. Page 92. It goes, the pirated seeds eventually landed in the hands of, among others, the Dutch, who lovingly prepared a bed for them in the rich fertile soil of Java in present-day Indonesia. The Dutch lavished their horticultural finesse upon the plundered cinchona, clearing thousands of acres of mountainous jungles for the seedlings. But cinchona proved to be a difficult guest. It preferred the conditions of its Andean home in areas between 3,000 and 7,000 feet above sea level. Closer to the sea, the trees perished. At higher altitudes, they withered to the size of shrubs. Steep mountain sides wouldn't do either, but only the loose, rich soil of the foothills. The passage continues, and it ends like this. The Dutch had to laboriously deflower thousands of non-legit cinchonas around their plantations, forbid farmers from cultivating them ever again, and maintain a rigorously pure seed line from the original seeds on the government's estate for safekeeping. No tree, not even rubber, mused American horticulturist Norman Taylor had ever had such a long history of patient, intelligent care bestowed upon it. Establishing cinchona in Java took 30 years. It's only in late 19th century that Britisher Ronald Ross discovers that Plasmodium is the reason why we have malaria. He was awarded a Nobel Prize in the year 1902 for that. Now, after the control of Chincona plantations by the Dutch, several attempts were made in both World War One and in World War Two for the development of anti-malarial drugs in laboratories. And they did develop one, like post World War Two, like during World War Two, they did get malarial drugs into operation, but they were not very effective in the long term. And post World War Two, there was this battle, like they decided if we cannot attack Plasmodium directly, then maybe we should target mosquitoes. And this pesticide, DDT, was chosen as this medicine which will cure everything. So DDT was sprayed aerially over multiple landscape. It was sprayed in different environments, and only after extensive usage of DDT, it was understood by the environmentalists that apart from mosquitoes, so many friendly organisms were getting killed, and they were persistent organic pollutants which were extremely harmful to the environment. And that is where Sonia Shah brings up to the concluding part in the approach to approach to treating malaria as a disease. The problem is malaria has been treated as this uniform disease for which you have a one-size-fits-all approach where you can have the same drug or the same pesticide. But that is not true. Malaria has been thriving because of its ability to mutate depending upon environments. Like one strain of Plasmodium, which is very virulent in one environment, may not be as damaging in another environment. At the same time, the species of mosquito which carries the Plasmodium is different across different environments. So if we had to go for a final solution for malaria, then we needed painstaking, selective, specific efforts rather than a one-size-fits-all approach. And that is the reason the fight against malaria was not won. Okay, so I strongly recommend that you read this book, and if possible, there is one more book. This is a novel, a science fiction novel written by Amitav Ghosh, the Calcutta Chromosome. And this is based on, the plot point is based on the discovery of Plasmodium as the causative factor for malaria by British Ronald Ross. So I'm adding the link for this book's review which I've done in my channel. I'll add it in the description below. So that's it for now.